Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. When you want to get someone in trouble, what do? Well, the easiest way is to look for something that particular entity did in the past, unearth it, and expose it to other people and say, see, this is what Gigi did. Therefore, Gigi is a bad person. Therefore, you should not trust or not associate yourself with Gigi. Or Gigi lied, that's the event, that's the situation. Right here, my friends, he's a liar. Never listen to him again. It's called character assassination. But if it's true, you expose it and that's done deal. Or slam dunk. But what if you do not have the evidence? What if you can't find the evidence? Well, you make it up. Or you create a circumstance in which you're going to give that circumstance, that situation, a certain spin, interpretation that will portray Gigi as a bad person or whatever you want to portray Gigi as. If you remember, Kaganovich, one of the henchmen of Stalin, the Georgian dictator, Stalin, Djugashvili, said, well, give me the name and I'll find you the crime. And they will make up a crime. It did not really matter. Or they would give an interpretation. In this case, we have Kaganovich or Stalin as friends. Friends for me is Kylian Mbappe. Kylian Mbappe is a football player who they say he's French. I don't think he's French, but whatever. He might be born over there, but it's a different. France is not France anymore. So the French nation, who, has nothing to do but portray Russia as bad, I guess, in this circumstance, they are trying to challenge France. They are trying to poke the bear. So the bear somehow reacts, so they can play the victim or say, see, I told you so, Russia is evil. But the chronology of events starts when we tell you it starts. So what happened here? The French authorities detained a Russian official in the airport in France, as the official landed in France. They confiscated the electronics, including his phone, obviously, or her phone in this case, and they interrogated this person. They created a situation. I have this article here coming from Russia Today from April 9th, 2025, where Maria Zakharova, the Russian Federation's Foreign Ministry's spokeswoman, tells us about it, and she condemns, or Moscow condemns, the detention of the Russian diplomat in France. Here is the article. Russia Today, 9th of April. Moscow condemns detention of Russian diplomat in France. Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova has called the incident, and I'm quoting, a shameful spectacle. Russia has lodged a formal diplomatic protest against France and summoned its ambassador after a member of Moscow's official delegation to UNESCO event was detained at a Paris airport. What? De Gaulle or the other one? What's his name? It escapes me right now. Was detained. Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova has said. Charles de Gaulle and Orly. That's the other one. Speaking to reporters on Wednesday, Zakharova expressed outrage about an incident that took place at, Charles de Gaulle Airport on Sunday. A Russian female diplomat was detained by French border officials upon arrival. Her phone and computer were confiscated, and no explanation, according to the Russians, was given for her detention. She said, adding that, and I'm quoting, the incident defies all explanation. No, it doesn't. They want to create a problem so you react. That's what it is. They are poking you. According to the spokeswoman, the Russian embassy in Paris promptly sent a consular official to the airport to look into the situation, submitted a formal protest to the French Foreign Ministry, and summoned the French ambassador in Moscow. You deal with people like these guys. You can't deal with them. They will not behave civilized. I guarantee you that. And I'm quoting, as a result of our demarches, Our colleague was ultimately permitted entry into the country. However, she was forced to spend an entire day in the airport's border zone, Zakharova said, calling the brief detention a shameful spectacle. Zakharova also warned Paris that it would face consequences over the incident, which she said would go well beyond formal protest. Now, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov also condemned the incident, calling it unacceptable and a violation of France's obligation under the Vienna Convention. They don't act like Europeans, they act like Mbappe, which defies the rules of diplomatic engagement between states. He added that the detention further damages already strained relations between the two countries. There's no relations, there's baboonish thing. So, there's the first one, and I have another one to show you the power of French former or dead empire. Russia Today, 9th of April, Niger, how you want to call it, drops French as official language. Okay, the move comes amid increasingly strained relations with Paris. Niger's traditional government has transnational government has demoted French and declared Hausa the country's national language. The move is set out in a new charter recently adopted by the West African nation, declaring French a working language. Excellent. Although Hausa is most widely spoken language in Niger, French has been official status since the country's independence from France 1960. Okay, good for you. And then you're going to buy next MiGs and Sukhois. So what's going on here? France, I know they don't like it, but that's a reality. They are really on free fall. They have been in free fall after they got bitten by the Prussians. Remember, they lost, and then how Germany was formed a little bit over there, a little bit of independence. They beat the French. That's what they did. That was in the 19th century. And then Otto von Bismarck created and did what he did. The chancellor. So remember, what was that? Sweat and blood or iron and blood? What was it? Iron and blood, something like this. One of these three things. Otto von Bismarck. So what happened? France, after Napoleon, they were on free fall. Then in the First World War, they say they won the war, but actually Germany did not lose 1 inch of its territory when they agreed to, go and have the armistice. All right. Then the Germans were treated badly, as if Germany lost the war. But remember, it was the Austria-Hungary who lost the war. But you don't hear anything about Austria-Hungary or Turkey or others. No, you hear only about Germany. Why? Well, is it because Germany was too strong, and that's the ideology, geopolitics of Great Britain, no strong country in Europe, and the French? Anyway, so let's go back to our thing here. French is a dead empire. It's dead. It's rotten. France is on its free fall because of the, the garment, the fabric of its society. Don't go to Paris and think that those beautiful buildings that you have out there, it's France. No, France is people. And the people living in France right now are not the people who lived in Napoleon's times, when they had all those beautiful French people, French nation. The problem is the French are babooned in thinking that they are French. Remember, there's a guy called Hakimi, I think is his name, who plays for Paris Saint-Germain in France, and in Paris, obviously, and he is Algerian. He's from Africa. He's African. But he's got other players from France that are more African than he is, but they are French. That's how they refer. Hakimi is the Algerian. It's African, but Mbappe and others are just French. All right, my friends, you got the hint. The problem is the French, the new French, will inherit nuclear weapons. That should bother a lot of people. Because those people, when they will be replaced by the new French, they will destroy the whatever friends they had. Look at what's going on in Niger, for instance. Well, why do you think they do this? Well, they were colonized. They were the victims. So when these guys who were allowed to come into France and now they're the new French, they will look around like a child who was adopted, from Cambodia, look in the mirror, being in, let's say, Germany, and say, parents, me. Parents, me, parents, me. Who the fuck are these guys? And he's going to look for his real parents, for his biological parents. And all of a sudden, he will start loving Cambodia very much Cambodia, and will feel that these parents from Europe, who actually raised him, gave him love, gave him all that he probably did not have over there because he was adopted as a... Okay? He will start calling these guys, the colonizers, the guys who went over there. If you can put it in France, it's even better. In Cambodia, in Indochina, is even better of an example. All right? Or in the United States of America, like Barack Obama. And as an example, his maternal grandparents. And he identifies as what? Where is daddy? Oh, fucking others somewhere in Kenya or wherever he is from. All right, my friends. And these guys will end up with the parents' nuclear weapons, hating the parents and hating everybody who looks like their parents. But they have nuclear weapons. Man, I won't be alive then. But this is where it's going to go. This is where it's going to go. And the same thing could happen in this country slowly, in United States of America, slowly. They will get the nuclear weapons. And you know who's going to be the first one who's going to be punched in the face? The one closest to you. The ones who raised you. Whomever you don't allow to die, he's not going to let you live. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Thank you very much. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.